What if everything you've ever wanted is already here? Right now, not someday in the future, not after years of hard work, but here, waiting for you to align with it, to open up, to receive. What if the missing piece isn't effort, hustle, or chasing, but energy? What if the real secret to creating the life you dream about lies in something much simpler, yet more powerful than any strategy or to-do list? It lies in the energy you carry, the vibration you send out through your thoughts, emotions, and words, moment by moment. Let's pause here. Really pause. Take a deep breath. Feel into this. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you crave is the energy you're broadcasting into the world? That's what we're diving into today. And this idea isn't new. It's something known for centuries by mystics, sages, and spiritual masters. But it's also something forward-thinking scientists have explored. People like the remarkable Jacobo Grinberg, who bravely studied the intersection between the mind and the fabric of reality. Grinberg, a brilliant neurophysiologist and psychologist from Mexico, didn't settle for surface-level truths. He asked questions that few dare to ask, like, what is reality? Where do our thoughts really come from? Can the mind actually shape the world around us? His answers were radical and incredibly empowering. According to his theory, known as the Syntergic Theory, often called the Kurrick Theory, the mind interacts with a unified field, a vast, invisible web that connects everything. In this view, your brain isn't just a receiver of reality. It's a co-creator. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs aren't just private little things happening in your head. They're energetic signals sent into this unified field, and the field responds. It shapes itself to match the frequency you're sending out. In other words, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Let that land. You could be doing all the right things on the outside, grinding, planning, strategizing, but if your internal energy is filled with fear, self-doubt, or unworthiness, you'll keep getting results that reflect that energy. This is the foundation of conscious manifestation. And once you understand it, once you truly feel the truth of it in your body, it changes everything. You no longer have to force things to happen. You don't have to constantly chase outcomes. You don't have to wear yourself out, proving your worth. Instead, you begin to shift from within. You realize that the energy you're embodying right now is either bringing your dreams closer or pushing them further away. So, before we go deeper, take a moment and type this in the comments. I trust the reality I am creating. And don't just say it, feel it. Let it move through you. This isn't about posting a nice quote. This is a declaration, a vibration, a ripple you're sending out into the field. Because here's the truth. When your energy becomes clear, calm, and aligned, life begins to reflect that back to you in ways that feel like magic, but are really just coherence. Let's come back to Jacobo Grinberg. He didn't just explore these ideas in theory. He studied them in practice. He worked with indigenous shamans, conducted experiments with altered states of consciousness, and used scientific tools to explore how intention and belief could influence perception. His findings were bold. They challenged the rigid, materialistic view of reality that says only what we can measure is real. Instead, he proposed something revolutionary, that the physical world we experience is like a canvas, and our minds are the brush. The unified field is always responding to our inner world. Your fear, it echoes. Your joy, it resonates. Your clarity, it aligns. Your confusion, it distorts. And this brings us to something that might be hard to hear, but deeply freeing once you accept it. If your life feels stuck, it's not because the universe is unfair. It's because your vibration is unclear. That's not blame. That's power, because it means you can shift things. You don't have to wait for someone else to change. You don't have to control the external world. You only need to tend to your internal world, your vibration, your alignment, your trust. But here's the twist. Most of us have been trained to do the opposite. We've been taught to fight for our dreams, to hustle harder, to control everything. We've been told that the more we struggle, the more we'll deserve the reward. But this mindset creates resistance. It puts fear in the driver's seat. It creates static in your signal. And the field reflects that back. through delays, setbacks, frustration, and burnout. Now, imagine a different approach. Imagine what it feels like to release that tight grip, to relax into trust, to embody the version of you who already knows it's happening, to stop chasing and start inviting. That's the power of non-resistance. Non-resistance is not passivity. It's not about giving up. It's about aligning with the flow of life. Imagine you're in a river. If you try to swim against the current, it's exhausting. You struggle, you sink, you get nowhere. But if you float, the river carries you. That's what it feels like when your vibration is aligned. And when you enter that flow, life starts to bring you what matches your energy. Opportunities show up. People arrive. Ideas land. Synchronicities appear. Healing begins. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped resisting it. Now, let's clear up one big myth. Letting go of resistance doesn't mean letting go of your dreams. It doesn't mean you stop desiring. It means you stop grasping. It means you hold the vision, but drop the tension. You release the fear. You let go of the story that says it won't happen unless you suffer first. When you can hold a desire with peace instead of panic, it starts flowing toward you effortlessly. Because here's the truth. The field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. You can say, I want abundance, but if your energy says, I'm afraid I'll never have enough, the field answers the energy, not the words. This is why inner work is not optional. It's the most powerful work you can do. When you shift from fear to trust, the field shifts with you. When you shift from doubt to belief, the mirror begins to change. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a co-creator, you activate something within you that's always been there, but has been waiting for your permission to shine. And here's what's beautiful about this. You don't have to wait until you're perfect. You don't have to eliminate every negative thought. You just have to become more aware of your energy, moment by moment, and choose alignment again and again. Every time you choose presence over worry, every time you choose trust over control, every time you choose love over fear, you're tuning your frequency, you're shifting your field, you're creating a new version of reality. This is what Jacobo Grinberg understood. And maybe that's why his work was so controversial. Maybe that's why his disappearance remains a mystery. Because when you start unlocking this level of truth, you start to live outside the rules of the old system. You stop playing the game of struggle and start flowing in the frequency of creation. And once you taste that, there's no going back. So here's your reminder. Your reality is listening. Your energy is your message. Your life is your mirror. You don't need to do more. You need to be more aligned. You don't need to chase what you want. You need to become the version of you who already has it. Because when your vibration changes, everything changes. Grinberg shared a powerful idea. When your mind interacts with a larger, unified field of reality, it doesn't just send out random thoughts. It sends structured information, shaped by the patterns in your brain and nervous system. These patterns aren't just random ideas floating around. They're deeply formed over time. And among all those patterns, the most influential one is your self-image. The way you see yourself, whether you view yourself as worthy, strong, creative, or on the other hand, as insecure, limited, and unsure. This self-image creates your vibrational signal. And the universe, the field, simply reflects that signal right back to you. It's no accident that many people, even though they speak their goals with passion, visualize regularly, read all the right books, and try different techniques, still find themselves stuck in the same loop. This happens because, deep down, they still carry an inner picture of themselves that doesn't match what they want to attract. The field doesn't respond to surface-level intentions. It responds to the steady, ongoing vibration that comes from deep within. Think about it this way. You might want to experience abundance, but if, inside, you still see yourself as someone unlucky or unqualified, your energy will reflect that lack. Even if you repeat affirmations every day, the core signal your field emits will be one of doubt or scarcity. And the field, being sensitive and precise, will read that vibration as your true message and respond accordingly. You may desire something with your whole heart, But if you don't truly feel worthy of it, the vibration you send out will tell a different story. This is why changing your self-image is not just helpful. It's essential for true manifestation. You don't change your reality by begging it to be different. You change your reality by changing your inner identity. Self-transformation isn't about forcing yourself to be someone you're not. It's about consciously rebuilding the way you see yourself, step by step. And it starts with becoming aware. Pay attention. How do you describe yourself to others? What do you repeatedly say about your life? I'm terrible with money. Things never go right for me. I'm always messing up. These kinds of statements might seem harmless, but they're actually silent declarations that reinforce your current identity. And as we've seen, the field responds to what you repeat, not just in words, but in energy. So the invitation is clear. If you want to live as someone who is abundant, healthy, joyful, and fulfilled, you must begin by seeing yourself that way first. This new version of yourself needs to be supported with every tool available: your words, your actions, your emotions, and most importantly, your feelings. Vibration doesn't come from logical thinking. It comes from emotion, from feeling confident, from feeling worthy, from feeling powerful. These feelings create the language that the universe understands. Grinberg's teachings remind us that perception isn't just passive, it's creative. It's not just about what you see, it's about what you create through the act of seeing. And the very first thing you create each day is the idea of who you are. If you change that idea, if you truly believe in a new version of yourself, the world around you will start to shift in response. There is something even more valuable than time, more important than money, and even more powerful than talent. That thing is attention. Jacobo Grinberg saw attention as the most essential instrument in creating a conscious reality. This is because the unified field, the vast, responsive matrix that connects to your mind, doesn't just react to passing thoughts. It responds most strongly to what you give your attention to again and again, with focus and presence. Attention works like a laser beam. It directs your energy with precision. Wherever you place your attention, your energy starts to collect. And wherever that energy builds, something begins to take form. That's the nature of manifestation. But the problem is that many people let their attention wander all day long. They don't use it consciously. They think about everything they don't want. They obsess over problems, and they replay fears in their minds like a broken record. Then they feel surprised when life gives them more of the same. According to Syntergic Theory, your attention serves as a link between your neural field and the greater unified field. Every time you focus your mind, you send out a vibrational message that the field picks up. So if you constantly focus on what you lack, you're signaling to the field that this lack is your current reality. The field, which is not judging or analyzing but simply responding, will reflect that same vibration back to you through experiences, events, and relationships. That's why attention must be paired with responsibility. Grinberg emphasized that consciousness organizes reality, and attention is where this organizing power becomes most clear. What you look at consistently will begin to grow. What you feed with your awareness starts to take shape, whether it's something wanted or unwanted. You can start applying this by simply observing where your attention goes during the day. Are you focused on what you're grateful for, or what's bothering you? Do you place your attention on your dreams or on your worries? Every moment of attention is like casting a vote for the kind of energy you want to experience. The more often you choose the same kind of thoughts, the stronger your energetic patterns become. And those patterns shape the field that eventually forms your reality. When your attention becomes conscious and deliberate, it turns into a powerful tool of co-creation. You can begin to guide your attention toward what you truly wish to manifest, whether it's better health, more peace, deeper love, or lasting success. You don't have to wait for it to appear to feel its presence. You can start feeling it now, not just thinking about it, but truly feeling it in your body and heart. That feeling, combined with focused attention, sends out a strong, clear signal to the field. So, what does this really mean for you, for your life right now? It means that you're never just thinking. You're always transmitting. Every thought, every emotion, every word is a a frequency being sent out into the unified field. And the unified field, as Jacobo Grinberg described, is not passive. It's not sitting in the distance, waiting to be discovered. It's active, alive, listening. It's the invisible network that connects every person, every tree, every moment, every breath. And it responds, not to what you want, but to what you are, to the vibration you hold the most consistently. This is where the shift begins. From chasing outcomes, to cultivating frequency. From controlling circumstances, to aligning with a deeper truth. Because you're not here to force reality into submission. You're here to dance with it, to create with it, to shape it, not with struggle, but with coherence. Not through desperation, but through deliberate, joyful, embodied energy. Now let's pause. Take a breath. Place your hand over your heart for just a moment. Feel what's there. Not what you think, but what you're broadcasting. Because the field doesn't care about your goals. It listens to your essence. Your frequency is your real identity. And here's the most liberating truth of all. That identity is not fixed. It's programmable, malleable, alive. The old story you've been carrying, the one that says you're not enough, or that you have to earn your worth, or that you always mess things up, that story is not who you are. It's just an old signal, an outdated vibration your subconscious kept transmitting because it was fed repetition and emotion. But you're allowed to rewrite it. You're allowed to retune your inner radio, to turn down the static of fear and turn up the music of your soul. How? By becoming intentional with everything you think, feel, say, and focus on. By using your attention not to feed old loops, but to water new seeds. This is not spiritual bypassing. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. This is about reclaiming your creative authority. Because your subconscious matrix is a garden. It doesn't care what you plant. It will grow what you feed. If you water fear, fear grows. If you feed trust, peace, love, and vision, those take root instead. So feed it on purpose. Speak to it like you would speak to a beloved child who just forgot how powerful they are. Because that's what you are, a brilliant, creative being who forgot that your words hold weight, that your feelings have force, that your presence shifts the field. And this is not theory. This is physics. Grinberg knew this. The neural field, the electromagnetic frequency produced by your brain, interacts with the unified field, which is essentially the vibrational blueprint of reality itself. What happens in your consciousness is not private. It's projected. And projection equals creation. This is why the stories you tell yourself are sacred. This is why the conversations you have in your own mind matter more than any goal-setting session or to-do list. You don't manifest what you write down on a piece of paper. You manifest what your nervous system believes is possible, what your subconscious is familiar with. And familiarity comes from repetition. So the invitation here isn't to try harder. It's to become more intentional, to take radical responsibility for your frequency, to treat every thought, every phrase, every emotional state as a seed, and then to ask, do I want to see the seed grow? Is this thought worthy of becoming part of my reality? Because it can, and it will. That's how powerful you are. Let's go deeper. There's a reason why the most ancient wisdom traditions, from Tibetan Buddhism to indigenous shamanism, revolve around ritual, repetition, and rhythm. They knew what Grinberg later confirmed with science. That reality bends to what is vibrationally stable, to what is focused, to what is emotionally embodied. That's why mantras work. That's why prayer works. That's why visualization, when done from the heart, works. Not because the universe grants wishes like a genie, but because you're interacting with a field that responds to your emotional frequency. So when you repeat something like, I am safe, I am enough, I trust the reality I'm creating, you're not saying it to convince the universe. You're saying it to retrain your matrix. You're rewriting the neural pathways in your brain. You're laying down new roads. And every time you walk that road, especially with emotion, you make it stronger. You shift from being a passenger in life to being the architect of your experience. But here's the subtle key. You must do it from a state of presence, not urgency. from a feeling of peace, not pressure. That's where most people go wrong. They affirm from a place of fear. They visualize while still vibrating lack. They say the words, but the energy underneath is, "This isn't working. I don't believe this." And the field listens to that. The field responds to the frequency beneath the words, not the words alone. That's why it's not about positive thinking. It's about vibrational congruence. When your thoughts, feelings, and body are all aligned, when they all say the same thing, that's when the field responds with clarity. That's when synchronicity shows up. That's when doors open. That's when miracles stop feeling miraculous, because they start becoming your norm. So what does this look like in daily life? It looks like this. You wake up and choose your frequency before you check your phone. You speak kind words to yourself, even if your mind wants to go back to old patterns. You catch the loop that says, "This always happens to me," and you replace it with, "Something beautiful is unfolding right now." You sit with your emotions instead of avoiding them, knowing that even pain is energy, and energy can shift. You treat your inner world like sacred space, because it is. And every single day, you return to presence, to practice, to power, because this isn't a one-time change. It's a new way of being. So I ask you now, if your subconscious is a projector, what movie are you playing? If your words are commands to the universe, what instructions are you giving? If your energy is a magnet, what are you drawing in right now? And most importantly, are you ready to shift? Because the moment you truly understand that the outer world is just a mirror, not a master, not a punishment, not a fixed destiny, but a mirror, you are free. You're no longer a victim of your past. You're no longer a prisoner of fear. You're no longer waiting for life to change so you can feel better. You understand. You feel better first, and then life changes. That is the path. That is the power. That is the practice. And that is the truth. If you continuously repeat words that carry the energy of limitation, words rooted in fear, scarcity, doubt, or lack, then you're literally programming your energetic field to produce more of those same experiences. The unified field, which holds the blueprint of potential reality, does not take sides. It does not decide what is right or wrong. It simply reflects what you emit. But when you begin to use conscious language, what we can call intentional decrees, you flip the script. You begin to send out new orders to the field. Declarations such as, "I am a magnet for new opportunities. I allow abundance to flow into my life," or "Everything is working in my favor," act as keys that activate new vibrations. However, for these words to truly work, they must carry more than intellectual understanding. They need to be alive inside you. They must be spoken with your full presence, with clarity of intention, and most importantly, with emotion. Emotion is what gives language its creative charge. Without emotional energy, words are just sounds. But with emotional energy, those same words become magnetic commands that the field listens to. The subconscious doesn't react to logical meaning. It responds to vibrational power. That's why simply saying affirmations you don't believe, or repeating phrases without any real feeling, often leads to no visible change. The key is to feel the words as if they are already true. This is the foundation of Neville Goddard's teaching, and it aligns perfectly with what Grinberg revealed. You must assume the energy of what you wish to experience. When you speak in the present tense, using phrases like "I am," "I have," and "I choose," you're sending a clear signal to the field to reorganize your reality in accordance with this new state of being. Over time, these repeated declarations start to create new pathways in the brain. They become internal programs that override the old ones. You stop merely reciting affirmations, and instead, you begin to embody a new identity. This shift influences everything: how you act, how you make decisions, how you respond to challenges. And as a result, your external world starts to mirror the change inside you. Grinberg saw the word not just as a symbol of communication, but as a vector, a vehicle of consciousness. That is why the act of consciously choosing your words every day is one of the most empowering things you can do. Because the truth is, those who speak with the energy of victory will eventually live in victory. Everything you experience, absolutely everything, is the result of the vibrational message you've been sending. Reality isn't random. It's not punishing you or rewarding you. It is simply responding. According to Jacobo Grinberg, the unified field that surrounds and connects all things is like a mirror made of energy. It receives what you put out and then sends it back in the form of experiences. Your thoughts, your emotions, your words, and your attitudes. All of them combine into one vibrational signal, and that signal shapes your life. This echo from the field is not symbolic. It's direct and literal. When your consciousness interacts with this field, it causes a reorganization of what we call external reality. In simple terms, life changes to match your vibration. That is why people who carry beliefs of scarcity often face repeated financial difficulty, even when they work hard and strive with determination. And those who carry within them a strong vibration of confidence, love, and wholeness seem to attract support, opportunities, and abundance with ease. Grinberg made it clear, wanting something is not what creates it. Being it does. You can want prosperity with all your heart, but if what you're vibrating is fear, anxiety, or self-doubt, the field will reflect those feelings, not your wish. The field does not give you what you ask for. It gives you what you are. That's the real power of this understanding. Life is not opposing you. It is mirroring you. The universe does not make mistakes. An extended reflection on vibration, echo, and inner alchemy. The universe does not make mistakes. It does not send pain as punishment. It does not scatter failure like tests to trip you. It simply reflects, with stunning accuracy and absolute neutrality, the dominant vibration you carry inside. Let that land. Reality is not random. It is not cruel. It is not choosing sides. It is echo. It is resonance. It is reflection. The moment you deeply understand this, not just in your mind, but in your being, you begin to awaken from the illusion that you are powerless. You stop trying to chase, fix, control, or manipulate everything out there, and instead, you start working with the only real creative power you have ever possessed, your inner frequency. Because once that shifts, everything else must follow. Picture how an echo works in the natural world. You stand at the edge of a canyon and release your voice into the vastness. You say a word, any word, and back it comes. No yayment, no edit. The canyon doesn't say, "That's not a nice word, I'll change it," or "You don't really mean that, I'll tweak it." It simply returns your vibration. Reality works the same way. The universe is a grand mirror, an intelligent field of energy that is listening, always listening. Not to your intentions, not to your hopes, not even to your vision board, but to your consistent energetic signature. So if you don't like the echo you're receiving, don't shout louder. Don't demand something new. Don't rage at the canyon. Change the sound. Change the signal. Change the song. That sound is your vibration. It is not something abstract or mystical. It is the real-time broadcast of your emotional state, your thoughts, your beliefs, and the stories you carry about who you are and what is possible for you. This is why emotions like gratitude, serenity, trust, and self-worth are not just nice ideas. They are energetic game changers. When you feel gratitude, your frequency becomes receptive. When you embody self-worth, you stop repelling your desires with unconscious doubt. When you rest in trust, the field can finally bring you what you've asked for because your energy has made space for it. You become a magnet, not through force, but through resonance. Jacobo Grinberg, with his beautiful fusion of mysticism and neuroscience, reminded us, reality is not fixed. It is not a hard-edged, unchangeable thing. It is a living matrix, a mutable system, constantly shifting in response to you. Even the smallest change in your frequency can begin to reorganize your field. A kind thought, a soft breath, a single affirmation repeated with sincerity, a gentle moment of choosing love over fear. These small acts are not insignificant. They are tectonic. They begin to carve out an entirely new timeline. Because in a vibrational universe, nothing is too small. Everything ripples. This is the profound beauty of conscious creation. Reality is not happening to you. It is unfolding through you. It is responding for you. Life is not distant. It is in dialogue. It is listening to every whisper of your being, and it responds with perfect fidelity. Not to your words alone, but to the feeling behind the words. Not to your desire alone, but to your belief in its inevitability. So if you want a new reality, you don't need to scream louder into the void. You need to tune your vibration like a sacred instrument. You need to whisper a new truth within yourself again and again until your nervous system recognizes it as real. And now that you understand this, not just intellectually, but energetically, you see that true transformation never required more effort, only deeper alignment. It was never about hustling to change what's out there. It was always about shifting what's in here. Because what you emit, what you feel, believe, focus on, and speak is the architecture of the reality you live in. You are not a powerless receiver of circumstance. You are a living transmitter of potential. So let this be your sacred invitation. From this moment forward, choose to become radically aware of the vibration you are emitting. Not from fear, not from pressure, but from love, from sovereignty, from the understanding that your inner world is the command center of your life. Observe your words. Speak with intention. Refuse to narrate limitation. Choose phrases that awaken power and beauty. Speak like someone whose voice writes code into the fabric of the universe, because it does. And above all, feel. Feel what it's like to already be aligned with the version of reality you wish to live. Not someday. Now. Not when the evidence appears, but before. That is the act of creation. To anchor this truth in the present moment, I invite you to write in the comments. I emit the vibration of the reality I wish to live. Let this not be a passing phrase. Let it be a declaration, a conscious signal sent into the field with love, clarity, and intention. Because when you write it, you're not just commenting. You are coding. You are initiating a new frequency. You are choosing to co-create with the field on purpose from love. And that is no small act. That is divine. If this message stirred something in you, take a moment to breathe it in, let it settle into your cells. Then share it with those who are ready to reclaim their vibration and remember their power. Subscribe, follow, return here often, because this space is for creators, not of content, but of consciousness. Your vibration is not random. Your energy shapes the world, and your next chapter begins now, with a single breath, a single thought, a single decision to align with your highest self. And from there, the universe will respond, as it always has, with perfect, echoing fidelity.